Hello, I'm Len West from Sunny BNB on the Sunshine Coast. Today's video is the setup procedure for a new property with Sunny BNB. So this video will give you an indication of the process of your property from the start, initial first meeting, up till payment, guests are finished, and the whole process, and what will happen each step along the way to give you an idea of the process. If you're looking at doing it, you're somewhere else or doing it with another manager, this is the general process that you will find that most good managers will follow, and it'll give you an indication of what happens. This is the exact process we follow that will give you a good indication for others if that's a help to you. Number one is the initial contact. You've phoned us, texted us, sent an inquiry through our website, sent an email, somehow we've made contact. We've set up a time to either initially maybe talk to you on the phone and find out what you wanted, and having a discussion about your needs. We have people who contact us and say, we're going away for a week, we'd like to Airbnb our property, and clearly that's not something we can do. We have a 6-month minimum for being with us. Now, it could be broken up where you're away for 3 months, back for 3, away for 4, back for 2. But generally, if you're in a calendar year, if the property's available for 6 months, it's worth us doing, and we will do it. It takes a considerable amount of time to go out, inspect, have our cleaning supervisors out, have a cleaning roster set up, to make a handbook for the property, to create listings on Airbnb, booking.com, stays, etc, etc, etc. So there's a lot of time involved, and therefore it needs to be a property that would be available for that amount of time. So we would talk on the phone, find out what you wanted, where you were, what your expectations are, and we may be able to say, yes, that fits within our criteria of what we do and our location and whatever. Or it may be that, no, we don't operate in that area, or this property wouldn't be suitable, or your expectations aren't in line with ours, or etc, etc. So the initial contact would be mostly over the phone. Sometimes it's just a general quick hello, and people would then want all of the questions and things we've just detailed then on our second step, the inspection of the property. But we'll come to that next. Number 2 is the inspection or appraisal. We've spoken with you, we've emailed, text, etc. We've made a day and time. We've come out to the property, and the twofold. It is to inspect the property to see whether it is suitable for Airbnb, the short-term rental market, to see if there are any things that need addressing, a new bed, painting, cleanliness, owner's items, etc., that we can give suggestions on, or bed configurations or whatever. We would list and probably take photos just generally while we were there, any features or any things that we saw a problem that we'd have a record of that we could follow up with you at a later time if you wish to go ahead with us. We would give you, as I said, the advice on the best configuration of beds. It's not simply just let's jam a lot of beds in a property. It is, what is the best configuration of sizes and numbers of beds in order to maximise the return for the property, but also not to overload a property. We're not looking at a 3-bedroom townhouse and putting 12 beds in it. What you're looking for is, what should this property hold as a maximum? What is sensible for the property, sensible for the neighbours, the area for parking, etc. And saying to owners, no, you can't have that many. This is what you would look at doing. This is where we get the best financial gain. No, you shouldn't put a double bed there. This one probably is best with a queen or a king, and have suggestions there and the reasons why. We would also suggest to owners, this is the maximum numbers of guests. Minimum's 1. You know, we have 5-bedroom properties where we have a guest or a couple book and stay. They like the space in the house and they can obviously afford it, and they rent this huge house with just the 2 of them, all right? So we're not setting the minimum number, minimum being 1, but we would set the maximum. So we'd say this property is 2, this property is 4, this property is 12, and that would be it. And then that's what we would work towards. We would also, at that initial inspection, appraisal, meeting the owners face to face, leave the owners with an information pack of all the Sunny BNB services. Number 3 is we've reached agreement on management. By that, it means we've come back and said to the owner, yes, we like the property, we very much like the owner, and we can see ourselves working with them, and this would be an excellent property for the short-term rental market on the Sunshine Coast. And if the owner thinks likewise, yes, they would like us to manage the property, we reach agreement. That would be the starting point then for the paperwork trail. Number 4, we need the property listing information. So what will happen is after the previous step, we've reached agreement, the owner wishes for us to manage it and we're going to manage the property. For this one, we would email the owner a PDF, an editable PDF that they're to fill in with the information, which is from the owner's names, their mobile numbers, email addresses, their emergency contact person, who their insurer is, then the breakdown of the property. How many bedrooms, what type of bed in each property, how many bathrooms, all of the detailed things. And we use, it's about a 12-page form. No, it might be 10-page. 10-page form that we use to assist us in when we're doing the listing as a reference point. Owners will need to fill it out and get it back to us as soon as they can, and that would then complete the owners completing paperwork, detailed paperwork for us to undertake the next stage. We would prepare a Form 6 property management agreement. A number of people mightn't realise, but to manage Airbnb or other properties, you need to have a full real estate licence. If your property manager is not licensed, they're not legal. They have to have a real estate licence. We started 7-8 years ago, and we didn't at the start. We were made aware of it, and so therefore got a real estate licence. And you need to have a real estate licence, you need to be compliant, you need to have a trust fund, etc. So the next stage for us, number 5, is in Queensland, it's called a Form 6 agreement, an REIQ standard form. We will have that completed. That will be sent out as a DocuSign to the owner or owners. We've signed, they electronically signed, and that is the agreement between the owner and the manager. Our agreement in the annexure has a clause where if owners wish to cease management, they give written 8 weeks notice and the management would finish. Likewise, if managers, if we, for whatever reason, found that the owners were unreasonable, hard to deal with, we may also terminate them as a management we're handling and give them 8 weeks notice. And of course, common sense says if both parties agree, we can cancel earlier. So Form 6 must be completed and must be signed by both the owners and the manager to be in compliant with Queensland state legislation. Number 6 is preparation of property. For that, obviously, as it says, the preparation of the property. So the owners need to have furniture, beds, crockery, cutlery, etc. We provide all owners with a detailed checklist for every room, cupboard, drawer of what you would need for that particular property, and as a minimum. So for instance, if you went to the kitchen and you were doing plates, our thing is whatever number of guests, so if this property slept 4, it would be 4 guests plus 2. So we would have 6 plates, 6 bowls, 6 soup bowls, 6 of those. And obviously, as we go on in time, if the cleaners, when they come in, notice there's 5 or 4, we will replace broken ones. So there's always enough. But we give that list to the owner, so the owner can use it as a checklist, and it's something for them to follow to ensure that the house is prepared and ready. One of my favourites, I went to a townhouse in Kings Beach, and the owner had printed out this checklist and had it masking taped to the dining table and was ticking each one as he went through them. He'd tick it and put a line through it that he'd done it, and you're looking at it and there you could see visually he only had a couple left. And I said to him, "This is fantastic. I've never seen anyone do this before." And he said, "My wife did it. She went back to Brisbane and left me with the list to do." So however you do it is fine. You don't have to tape it to the table, but there's a list there for you to do, a list for you to follow up, and you can use that as your template to make sure your property is equipped as it should be. Also, the preparation of the property, obviously, it has to be clean, beds made, etc. Owners mostly will have a cleaner do it themselves. Our cleaners will come in to make the beds and prepare it, but also if they find that the property isn't to the standard where we would want it, they will do additional clean to bring it up to standard to make sure it starts in a perfect condition. So our cleaners will come in and make sure that it is as it should be, because straight after that are photos, and the property must be clean and pristine. Number 7, I've just mentioned a second ago, but is professional photos. It's important. Get professional photos. The photos are your window to the guest. The photos are where the guest gets to see your property in the best possible light. So if it's a 2-bedroom property, you may have anywhere from 20 to 24 photos. If it's a larger house, you may have 33, 34, 35 photos. Now, when I say that number of photos, it's not just of the property. We haven't taken 10 photos of each bedroom, but we've taken photos of the property, photos of any outdoor area, photos then of the local area. And if you're close to coffee shops, supermarkets, parks, playgrounds, the beach, photos. Because if you're a guest and the guest is interstate or overseas, they see it and they go, oh, okay, place looks nice. Oh, the local photos are good. Oh, there's a good coffee shop. Oh, there's a fruit shop. There's this, there's that. And it gives you an indication of what you need to, as a guest, all of these other features. The third part of photos is, in this day and age, you should have drone photos, unless you're restricted by proximity to an airport. Like if we're filming if we've got a property starting at Markula, which is right near Maroochydore Airport, and we're unable to do drone photos because of the flight restrictions in putting up drones. Now, we just can't do it there. But all of the other photos, other properties, we take drone photos because we can say to people, this is close to the beach. Here's a drone, here's the property, there's the beach. Or I'm sitting here now, there's the river. Let's put up a drone photo. Here's the house, there's the river. You can say it all you want, but 3 beautiful drone photos showing the location, showing here's this beautiful property on acreage right on the river, available to rent on Airbnb. Nothing beats professional photos. Number 8 is the listing of the property. We create, and as I said, we list properties on Airbnb, on Booking.com, on Stays, and our own sunnycoastbnb.com.au website. But initially, when we first do it, we only create a listing on Airbnb. For the first 14 days, only a listing on Airbnb. And the reason being, we create the listing, Airbnb as a new listing will give you priority in search. You will jump up in search, even because you have no history, you have no nothing, but because you're a new listing and they're trying to encourage you and to see what it's like, they will put you forward and you will appear very well. Now, the last thing you want to be doing is having your other listings on Booking.com and whatever, taking bookings, and therefore Airbnb considers there's something wrong with your bookings, or you're not serious, or you blocked it out and you don't want it there all the time, and you will drop right back in search. So the aim is 2 weeks priority Airbnb, maximise as many bookings as you can there, have that going. Day 15, Booking.com, Stays, Sunny Coast BNB, they're all started, they're up and running and taking bookings. So it gives us that opportunity to start well on Airbnb, get the priority, get it done there, and then bring the others in. The others don't have that same sort of problem, but certainly if you don't do it with Airbnb, you can end up affecting it and taking ages to get back. I should also say in the listing of the property that we set the calendar for the property. By that I mean we set all the pricing. So in our area, what are we looking for is our major driver of prices are holidays. So the term holidays at the end of term 1, end of term 2, end of term 3, and then the Christmas holidays. They're major drivers of visitor numbers, and they're major drivers of price and price returns to owners. Our price at Christmas can be 3 or 4 times more than we would achieve at other times of year. So the fact that the property must be priced properly at a certain time and certain dates. The other driver of every area has local drivers, festivals and whatever. So the Sunshine Coast, the Marathon, the Ironman, the whatever, many events that bring large groups to the coast, you need to be aware of them, you need to have it priced properly. We do that, we do it manually for setting minimums and maximums. We do it manually for selecting the ranges we'll accept for certain times. So there may be this house that's sitting here where it's available Friday, Saturday night, today's Thursday, so tomorrow night and Saturday night, and we're saying that this property is from 700 to 900 range in those 2 nights, whereas at Christmas time, this property, the range from minimum to maximum would be 1,200 to 1,550 a night, minimum a night for accommodation. So we set the minimums for the time for the period, and then we have pricing software, looks at every single property that's listed on any of the OTAs, Airbnb, Booking.com, etc. It looks for them, it sees the price, what are they charging, their rates, etc. And then it sees the bookings when they fall off, and it gives straight away an indication of their software. Is this at the moment a low demand, many properties available? And we have our parameters set, but then we wish to go 5% lower, for instance, than our competitors in that small area. So they may be having an apartment on 145, and it's telling us that there are a lot of properties available tonight or Thursday night. There are a lot of properties available, and it says, I'm going to drop it because the minimum you will take that I've set as a parameter is 120, and they've made it 138. And they'll look at it, and they'll do this repricing 3 times a day. Because the thing with accommodation, if we do not rent this tonight, it's gone. We've lost the money. The owner's not made a return, we've not made a return. So the aim is, it's opportunity cost. So we must look at all the time is, what do we do to fill the property up? Obviously, we're not going to rent it for nothing, and we have parameters to set, but you have to have all of the processes in place with the listing to ensure you maximise the price. That's all part of the listing process. So, following the process after that, what do we do with Sunny BNB? Next one, we take guest bookings. So this is the exciting part. Your first guest booking comes in. Excellent. We message the guests, we find out more information, we verify the guest's identity, their name, their credit card, their driver's license, their intent for the use of the property and why they're here. All of that is to safeguard payment, to safeguard the asset, to make sure the people who've booked aren't fraudulent, they're not using a stolen card, to make sure the property is being used by guests who are who they say they are, and for the intent that they say they're going to use it for. So guest bookings are all of those things, and then of course at the end any messages back and forwards and working with the guests in their lead up to staying with us. Number 10 is the cleaning of the property. Lots of people use external cleaners and cleaning companies and an individual. We believe for consistency and quality, we employ our own cleaners. We have 30 cleaners work for us, and the cleaners will set up and clean the property on the day the guests check out and have it ready for the next guest. We have detailed A4 laminated sheets, both sides, the keys to the property clipped on it, and it tells the cleaner exactly what they have to do with the property. For each property, we only use linen service linen. We don't use owner's linen. We don't use owner's sheets, pillow slips, towels, etc. All of our things are straight from a linen service, high quality, done well, same as the hotels use, etc. Owners in our circumstances provide mattress protector and a spare one for our cleaner's cupboard, and doona cover and a spare for the cleaner's cupboard. But all of the other linen in the property, sheets, pillow slips, premium bath towels, beach or pool towels, hand towels, bath mats, tea towels, are all provided by us from the linen service. Number 11 is the post-guest checkout. So our cleaners have been in, our cleaners have made an initial assessment, there is some damage, there is something missing, there is rubbish, and we need photos of that. We need to get a quote on what it is for replacement or for repair. We need to contact the guest. We need to bill the guest if applicable. We need to get that payment off the guest or off Airbnb or off the insurance company or whoever. We need to provide guest review or guest feedback, and we need to follow and pursue through the claim for damages and the financial payment. So it's not just that the guest has stopped, left. We now have a responsibility to make sure the property is as it should be, back to pristine, no damage, nothing missing, and if there is, that we've followed it up to make sure that it's repaired or things are purchased to have it back as it should be. Number 12 is owner payments, owner bookings, and I'll start with owner bookings before owner payments. So an owner wants to stay at the property. When we first started, we would have owners ring, email or text and say, is it okay if I stay on these dates? Of course it's okay, it's your property. So now it's much easier. Owners go to the online portal. They can see all the bookings for guests. They can see the calendar. They can click a button and put owner reservation. And then they put, look, they want to come up next week, and they go, right, there's no one there on Tuesday and Wednesday nights, so they'll go Tuesday, Wednesday nights, and come in Tuesday, I will check out on Thursday, I'll stay for 2 nights. They make a booking, it comes through to us, it blocks out the calendar, no guests can stay, owners come and stay, owners leave, and just like any guest, our cleaners go straight in, clean it and have it ready for the next guest. We have owners come to us where previously when they're with a manager they've been restricted. They were allowed, we've had people come and say they were allowed 4 weeks a year, which is 28 days. Others were allowed 4 weekends and then up to 6 during the weeks. You can come as much as you like, as long as our expectation would be in a calendar year, at least 6 months of it was available. So we have all sorts of scenarios. We have an owner in Victoria who comes up in the winter for 4 months and then we don't see her again. We have owners in Brisbane, Gold Coast, Toowoomba who come up 4 or 5 weekends a year and that's it. And sometimes some of them come up in February, they might come up in a week and have time then. We have interstate owners who come up in January for 2 weeks and that's it, we don't see them again. We've got fly-in, fly-out miners who are away for 3 weeks and then back for a week and it's blocked out. It depends on the circumstance of the owner. We'll fit in with anything and it's quite simple. You block it out in the calendar, we'll clean it when you leave, and it's simple as that. What we won't do is a guest has made a booking and then you've looked at it and said, oh, we wouldn't mind going on Saturday, can you cancel the booking? And no, we won't. The guest has a booking and we must make sure we deliver that guest booking, but most definitely if there's vacancies, you can nominate any date you want or a whole range of dates and say, look, can you block it out for the next 2 months? Okay. You know, my daughter's had a medical episode and will be getting out of hospital and needs to rehab. Can you block it out for 5 weeks? Okay. So daughter comes, she stays, she's there 5 weeks, she leaves, we have it cleaned. So for the owners, they can make the bookings themselves, the online portal, and it may be they made a booking and then they forgot it's their mother-in-law's birthday, it's their son or daughter's sporting carnival or whatever. They go to the online portal and cancel the booking, and then automatically the booking is open again and any guest can book it. They may come and then they want to change the dates, have a day longer, leave a day earlier, change the dates in the owner's portal, and away it goes. It's as simple as that. Last thing, owners' payments. Owners are paid mid-month and owners are paid end of month. So normally, it depends on what day of the week because they're not paid on Saturdays and Sundays, but normally it's on 16th or 15th, 16th or something like that, or just after. It might have been 15th, it might have been 17th, depending on the way the days fall. But they're paid mid-month, and then as soon as the month finished, they're paid, immediately at the start of the next month. That's the procedure for Sunny BNB. It may sound detailed and long. By doing it with the process, we make sure we don't forget anything. You know what the process is. You have to be process-driven. You have to be procedural. You don't forget things, and you make sure everything's done in an efficient and timely manner. I hope that gives you an indication or a good overview of what we do in onboarding a new property and new owners, and that may be something that's advantage to you. If you'd like further information, please don't hesitaate to contact us at sunnybnb.com.au. Thanks again.